Well, it was your courage 3.5 years ago going public for 9/11 Truth that I clearly have tracked and chronicled as a trigger point, because people really resonated with the courage. They knew you were intensely private, and I'm not trying to sit here and heap worshipful support on you, but we do need to start respecting and appreciating courage again. Charlie, why did you go public for 9/11 Truth? I mean, we know you questioned the official story, but why did you take the plunge when so many other A-listers I've talked to know the truth but are scared?
I couldn't sit back and pretend like everything was okay and it didn't matter. It was because I was looking at how the state of the world was developing and how these evil bastards were ruining the entire planet and all of humanity with their evil agenda. And I couldn't sit back. And I think we spoke about this before. I first came out on the 1-year anniversary of the war, and so it wasn't just a random day. It was a very specific time to remind people, hey, wait a minute, let's take a look back. Let's look at the reason we're there, and and the reason we have plans to continue through the entire region. So it was just one of those things where I couldn't not do something. I had to come forward.
Well, we appreciate it, and it's another example of standing up, doing the right thing, in the end having a huge effect. Christo, you were trying to say something when I interrupted you.
I was just going to say that the patriotism and courage that you two gentlemen have shown inspired me to then begin making my own videos, and that's how movements grow. And it's just crucial that just one person will stand up and say, hold on a second, that's not the truth, and I'm going to stand up for the truth. And then you see that all the dominoes start to fall in the other direction.
Yes, of course. And also, Krista, we cannot wait. We can't wait 50 years like we had to with Pearl Harbor. We can't wait 30 years like we had to with Gulf of Tonkin. We can't wait, 40 years like we had to with JFK. We just can't wait, because it's like, the late, great Aaron Russo so eloquently said, in his final interview documentary with Alex, until we understand 9/11, we cannot move forward. And that was such a powerful message that he was able to leave behind.
The time is now.
It's so true.
The time is now for action. And one of my favorite Alex Jones quotes is, if you want to rush, why don't you try fighting tyranny?
Yeah, there you go.
Because it gets me up every day now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and there's always a fight to be had when you're when you're carrying that torch,
Well, Charlie, you are a chip off the old block. Your dad is such a great guy and so informed, and the times I've got to hang out with him, just another amazing individual. I know your father and mother and brother and other family are very proud of the work you've done with 20 Minutes with the President. Yeah,
no, they were thrilled. They were concerned for me and my family's safety and all of that. But most of that stuff just happens in the movies. But yeah, no, and they were really proud and they were really supportive. I still think, Alex, we should have videoed the night that my dad and I read it together to make sure that the final draft was ready to be published.
I know, sitting there watching you and your father, him playing the part of the president, which he's so good at, you playing the part of Charlie-Sheen yourself, watching them sitting around that table outside under the Los Angeles stars was just amazing. And I do wish, who knows, down the road, maybe we can set up a camera and get your dad to read 20 Minutes with the President with you.
Why not? Why not? I mean, he's so supportive of the entire movement. He's not as public as I am about it, but he has gone on the record, and I saw a video of him
with Building 7. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. He said he didn't want to believe any of it until he looked at that and he went, "Wait a minute, that just doesn't add up," And I said, "Well, Dad, here's about 500 other examples that don't add up,"
Well, gentlemen, Gentlemen, closing comments as we end this hour.
Christo? Well, I think, you know, I think the bottom line is that, you know, we have to
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, gentlemen, for giving me the opportunity to turn your script into a film. It was quite an honor. And, Alex, if you want me to make a docudrama about your life, I think that all American patriots need to be brought into the mainstream as stars. I think we need more visibility for you, for Ron Paul, and for other characters that are willing to step up and tell the truth.
Well, I'm flattered because we haven't really mentioned that Christo's made TV shows with P. Diddy and Victoria Gotti and others. So you're a big guy in TV yourself. Obviously, why you won, but everybody was open for the contest. But thank you, Charlie. 30 seconds. Closing comments, my friend.
I think the three of us, Christo, you, and myself, need to get together and plan the next secret project that we're going to launch into the face of tyranny.
Oh, could this be the guy to be part of your next operation?
Yes, indeed. I think we found our man.
Charlie Sheen, Christo Garcia, the winner of 20 Minutes with the President. The video's up on Infowars.com. The winner. Next hour, I'll get into ClimateGate, the latest vaccine deaths and recalls. It's all coming up as we warn the public about the New World Order. Charlie Sheen, Christo Garcia, I'll say bye to you during the break. I want to salute both of you. We are certainly brothers in arms, fellow travelers for liberty and truth and freedom. And I'm just glad to be alive and to know you. I love you both. We'll be right back.
Alex, I love you too. Thank you, Christo. Congratulations. I'll talk to you guys soon.
No warning signs that I'm aware of.
And it was a revelation that the White House had no intention of making public.
President Bush was told in August that Osama bin Laden might be planning an attack involving the hijacking.
Could have predicted.
Nobody in our government, at least.
August 6th, PDP.
I believe the title was Bin Laden Determined to Attack Inside the United States.
70% of family members' questions were never answered during the 9/11 Commission report.
Lee Hamilton and Thomas Keane said they were set up to fail.
I mean, I'm a member of the commission. It's a scam. It's absolutely disgusting.
The questions, Mr. President. The questions.
Building 7 ablaze at the moment and apparently getting ready to collapse.
Building 7. Freefall collapse.
Well, no, there's number 7 coming down. The excitement and the fun that people get watching an old building being demolished, and they wired very carefully for days, and it's a very careful operation.
Third time today. It's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
The smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy.
We're getting information now that one of the other buildings, Building 7 in the World Trade Center complex, is on fire and has either collapsed or is collapsing.
The Pentagon. Vanishing airplane.
My close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual site of the building that's crashed in, and as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around, which would indicate that the entire plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon.
Firefighters and police describing explosions. A lot of them.
The secondary explosion. We've got numerous people covered with dust from the secondary explosion.
Just floor by floor instead of popping out.
It was if they had detonated.
Detonated.
If they were planned to take down a building. Boom, 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 boom.
Looks sort of like the building just demolished.
Even if there was no secondary explosives in the building.
Kind of like gunfire. You know, bang, 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 bang. And then all of a sudden, 3 big explosions.
Do you know if it was an explosion or if it was a building collapse?
To me, it sounded like an explosion.
Chief Albert Turry told me that he tried to get his men out as quickly as he could, but he said that there was another explosion which took place, and then an hour after there was another explosion in one of the towers here.
Sibel Edmonds, FBI translator, breaking her gag order.
All our intimate relationship with Bin Laden and Taliban. We did carry very intimate relationship with these people all the the way up to September 11.
Bin Laden was spirited into this military hospital in Rawalpindi for kidney dialysis treatment. The military had him surrounded. They were saying that Osama bin Laden had to be watched carefully and looked after.
NORAD standing down. Where were the planes?
On now to one of the eeriest moments amid the carnage of 9/11. A mysterious plane was seen flying right over the president's residence.
The E-4Bs over New York and Washington, otherwise known as the Doomsday Planes.
It has never been officially explained.
Cell phones working at impossible altitudes. Solicitor General Ted Olson receiving phone calls that the FBI says were never made.
What happened during that call? This is the only information we have on these terrorists.
She was able to call him twice. How she could pull that off, we don't know, but she did.
These are the questions, Mr. President. These are the questions. They go on and on.